Dr. Mary Lippitt is a world-renowned expert and speaker in the areas of leadership, strategic thinking, and change implementation. Dr. Lippitt is the developer of the Leadership Spectrum Profile and an award-winning author of Brilliant or Blunder: 6 Ways Leaders Navigate Uncertainty, Opportunity, and Complexity.
Today, I'd like to talk to you about thinking, and I'd like to just right off the bat tell you I like to think fast. I like the comfort, the efficiency. I like knowing that I can have an answer right at the tip of my tongue. It's comfortable, it's reassuring, and it's great. Until I realize that the reason it's on the tip of my tongue is because it's part of my experience, which means it's part of history. The only trouble is that fast thinking means that I'm relying on experience, and that experience could be outdated, incomplete, or actually wrong. And there are times when I really have to dig deeper. So we're going to talk about thinking in different levels of thinking, because if I want a successful tomorrow, I can't rely on the thinking from yesterday. So bear with me for a moment, and I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of an exercise. You don't have to move. You could do this in your seat, and you can do it privately. You don't have to announce this. But I'd like you to just tell me what the correct pronunciation of the capital of Kentucky. I'm going to give you 3 choices. Is it Louisville, Louisville, or Louisville? Yes, you got it right. It's Louisville. And actually, you answered the question of the multiple choice fine. But if you take a look at the stem of the question, what you have to recognize is that there's an assumption in that question. Now, I embedded in it, and I'll take full responsibility for misleading you. But actually, the correct pronunciation for the capital of Kentucky is Frankfurt. Yes, you were misled. And you were misled because you wanted to do some fast thinking. I would just like to point out to you that sometimes when we're facing change and complexity, ambiguity, we have to take our thinking beyond fast thinking. And let me just dig a little deeper into the topic of thinking. Thinking is not dependent on an advanced degree, an IQ, or a really sharp level of intelligence in a specific area. This is not rocket science that we're talking about. It's an effort on our part to determine how open our minds are going to be. So let's just do another example, please. I'd like you to add 2 numbers. Would you please add 22 and 33? Yes, you're right. 55 is the correct answer, and for many of us, it just pops into our head. Most of us relied on our fast thinking. We came up with 55. It almost appeared on the tip of our tongue. So let me try then change it around a little bit. This time, I'm going to ask you to multiply 22 and 33. Yes, it didn't pop into our heads. And if any of you are like I am, I sort of wait for somebody else to come up with the answer because it's going to take energy on my part, and I chose it wasn't worth it. So I'll wait for somebody to pull out a calculator or to be able to answer that question. And by the way, it's whether it's a calculator or you actually did it in your head, the answer is 726. The issue is that some of us disengaged from the thinking because it took more energy. What I'd like to suggest to you is that there are times when we really need to expend that energy and do some deeper thinking. Now, by deeper thinking, I don't mean that it requires an advanced degree, a genius level IQ, or some really penetrating intelligence. What I'm saying is that deeper thinking needs a commitment from us and a courage that we will actually expend the energy to think something through thoroughly. Sharper thinking does take more of our energy and our commitment, but the payoff is that we will be able to deal with complexity and changing realities, ambiguous situations. So how do we do it? It's just 4 easy steps, and those 4 steps capitalize in the word deep. D is for detecting. It's for taking a look all around us and seeing the things that we're comfortable with, that we know are there, but actually also the things that aren't familiar to us. E is for exploring, creative thinking. What are the alternatives? Given this information, what are the patterns and the trends tell us what is possible? Not only with traditional alternatives, but also non-traditional alternatives. After that full exploration, that innovative burst of ideas, then we have to do the second E and evaluate where are the risks, where are the possibilities that really will pay off for us, what are the consequences, what is the best path forward. And after determining that path forward, then we need to do the planning. So we need to detect reality, we need to explore what is possible, evaluate what is feasible, and plan for what is achievable. That is what I mean by sharper thinking. If we believe what Einstein said is that we cannot solve today's problems with the same thinking that we used to create them, we really have to agree that we have to take our thinking to a new level. It takes our courage, our energy, our commitment. But the return is that means that we can be successful in a changing, complex world.